Are you a prepper or homesteader looking to connect with like-minded people in your area? Looking to start your own preparedness group? Already have a group? Well, look no further than PrepperNet. PrepperNet is dedicated to personal responsibility, individual freedoms, and being self-reliant. PrepperNet has monthly meetings in over 100 cities where you can meet and learn with like-minded people in your area. PrepperNet, where preppers unite. Find us online at preppernet.com.
Survive, thrive, stay alive. It's time to get prepared with the Prepping Academy podcast.
Hey guys, welcome to PrepperNet Live. I am Forrest. We're coming live to you from a hospital near you. Got some updates to give everyone. Got an awesome guest in the green room. Haven't even spoken to him yet, but he's there waiting. I'll bring him up in a minute, a little bit. We got some announcements to go. And of course, as I'm doing the show, starting the shows, I'm getting like texts. Make sure you make this announcement. Don't forget this announcement. Can you add this announcement? So, hey, we are going to get started here. Hey, welcome to the show. If you know the sound, if you know the movie Mighty Python and the Holy Grail, and the guy says, I'm not dead yet. Yep, I'm not dead yet. I'm still here, guys. So anyway, got some story. I was like, what is he talking about? We'll get into that in a little bit. So let me start the old presentation here. We'll go through some announcements. We'll bring Chris in from ammo.com and make sure I've got everything set. Hey, in the chat room, everyone, make sure you put where you're from in there. Put in there where you're from, what group you're near, why Forrest is alive. I just saw that comment. Hey, Forrest, yeah, good. Well, thank you, Lee. So, yep, I'll tell you about that, guys. Well, let's get started with some announcements. Y'all keep putting where you are from. Hey, this is season 2. Welcome for everyone, all the PrepperNet people out there across the nation here, and those that are going to be listening to it via podcast. Welcome. See, this is season 2. There was never supposed to be a season 2, but season 1 ended and people weren't happy. So that's why we created a season 2. So I do want to encourage everyone. We operate off $40 a year. That's all. That's literally like 4 cups of coffee at Starbucks. Well, depends on what kind of coffee you get, I guess. But hey, $40 a year gets you 9 free webinars. It gets me in and out of the hospital. It gets a lot of things done. It allows me to buy lunch for few people. That actually pays the bills. I mean, just think, we have $9,000 in bills just for meetups. That's meetups alone. That's not counting the $600 a month MailChimp account, whatever. Just, hey, it's $40. And I even have a way for iPhone users how to upgrade. So go to the website, the .net site, preppernet.net, and do that. That's your first preparation. Yeah, preparation you should do. So let's keep going here. I'm not going to beg for money. Hey, I do want to announce, so we're getting ready to have a season of ham radio. We are going to make 500 new ham radio operators out of you guys. And I hope you guys are getting psyched about this, but our first ham radio show is next weekend. Don't forget, you can be a technician license. That's a test. General's a test. Extra's a test. They're all just a test. All you got to do is memorize the questions. So the first thing we're going to do is work on 500 technician class license. Now, if you can't get that, I promise you there are 3rd and 4th graders that can remember these questions. So it's easy. We're going to walk you every step of the way. And what if I told you that if you get your technician license, I will get you a free radio, a free ham radio, literally mailed to your house, free of charge. Well, I'm not paying for it, but I know some people, and I can get you a free ham radio, just UHF and VHF. And if you get your license, I can guarantee you'll get a free radio. So it's literally free. You just pay for the test. So anyway, let's keep going. So we're going to help you get your license. We're going to get you an equipment list. This particular radio might not be on our equipment list, but it's free, but it's probably not on our list. So we'll deal with that. And then we'll give you some training, and then we're going to do some training exercises. Trainings and training exercises are different. Yes. Trainings, learning how to do it. Exercise, you actually practice it. Again, the first weekend of that is August 13th. We're going to have a get started video. That's next Sunday night. September 3rd is going to be a status update, because then you got homework to do and you got a test. You can't get rid of forces like the Energized Bunny. Oh my gosh, guys. I got some stories to tell you guys. And then on the 17th, we're hoping everybody reports in with their ham license saying, I've got it. We're ready to go to the next step. And guess what? I'm going to tell you some good news, but sometimes good news can be, good news is we're going to do this again in a couple months. So if this isn't the month, if this timing doesn't work out, don't worry. We're going to do it again. Every 2 months, we're going to start this cycle. We want 500 brand new ham operators in 1 year. And if we don't get that done, I owe Josh, which our comms officer. So anyway, I will have to buy him a steak dinner. So I don't want to buy anyone a steak dinner. So anyway, hey, so I did find some funny videos this week. I'm going to go with what I have, guys. If I make this up, you'll know it. So I always come with a couple funny videos, and I picked 2 this week. I did this early in the week in case the crap hit the fan, and crap kind of did hit the fan for me. So first one, I'm going to show you the first video. I'm going to pull it up here. These are videos that make me laugh. And if they don't make you laugh, you're not a human being. So this, I literally think, and Beth, BG in the chat, she's going to get really mad at me. I really feel like I have to play this one twice. But, and we'll see. So turn your volumes up, even louder than me. But so, and it's kind of hard to see. So squint, get your little magnifying glass out, So here's the first funny video I found that I've watched it 30 times. I just thought it was funny. So here we go.
Tip that may just save your life one day. See this man right here? He's about to get chased by a dog, but he's smart and knows that dogs hate the sound of glass breaking. So he's going to toss himself through this windshield. The dog's going to run. Perfectly executed.
Did you see it?
Tip that may just save your life one day. See this man right here? He's about to get chased by a dog, but he's smart and knows that dogs hate the sound of glass breaking. So he's going to toss himself through this windshield. The dog's going to run. Perfectly executed.
See how if you know the tricks, he saved his life by literally tossing himself into that car's windshield, and the dog ran away. That is genius. That is next level genius right there. What an incredibly smart guy. So then I found this other video. I don't know who this lady is. I think she's some kind of movie star. I don't know. I don't watch really movies. I just don't have time for them. I will watch Mission Impossible. I will watch that. And she's on a talk show, and man, yeah, part of me kind of wishes, not that her, but if the words were coming out of my wife's mouth, that would be pretty cool. But okay, this is funny. I love this. I found it. So tell me what you think about it.
When we first started dating, I gave him helicopter lessons, flying lessons for his birthday. He never showed an interest in flying, but I just gave him to him in case the world has gone to shit and we need to fly away. So I was like, I need to be with someone that can operate a helicopter.
First of all, why don't you take the helicopter lesson?
Because I'm in charge of weapons and ammo.
Yes, that's awesome. She said that. I don't know who that lady is, and I'm sure everyone will comment in there who she is, but that's because she's in charge of weapons and ammo. She can't fly the helicopter and be in charge of weapons and ammos. I understand that. So that's my 2 funny videos this week. I don't know her. Beth said she doesn't know her. Well, Beth, you need to get out more. So with that said, Beth, since you're coming up a lot, you sent me a dang text. Hey, make sure you announce this. So she said I can even read it, like I can read. So I'm going to pretend like I'm reading what she said here. Okay, guys. It says, "Hey guys," that's coming from her, not me. So I didn't say that. She said that. "There's a great event coming up in Hilton, West Virginia, September 7th through 10th. This is a perfect opportunity for the PrepperNet members in that region to get together, take some great classes and network. Beth G will be posting the details in the chat room right now." So I guess she's posting detail. I don't see the details, but she's posting them right now, guys. She has 5 free tickets. So let her know if you plan to attend and if you like one of these tickets. So there you go. She's there. She posts something. I guess they're $75. PrepperNet has 5 free tickets to go to that. The reason I won't be going to that is, I'm moving my daughter into her college that weekend. I was wondering, I forgot why I wasn't going to that. Just remember. So anyway, there you go. Beth will handle that in the chat room like she always does. And don't forget, we got a great guest in the green room. We're getting ready to get to him. So, hey, this week, people you need to follow. Last week was active self-protection. Anybody follow him? Anybody watching his videos? Let me know in the chat room if you did, because he's great. I mean, he is just a swell guy. This week, I got a new guy. I mentioned his name before. I may even mention it last week. So this guy this week is a new friend of mine. He's called the Economic Ninja. This guy is great, has a YouTube channel to do this. I mean, I'll tell you this. He's so rich that he does what he wants to do, and he's a full-time fireman. I don't know if it's volunteer. I don't know, but I know that he does it because he loves helping others. And he'll tell you he owns 30 plus properties. He does all this investment. He does all this stuff, and he does what he loves to do as a fireman. Matter of fact, he'll come in with some smoky, I don't know if smoke's leaving his hair or whatever, but he's dirty and go, "Hey, got to record this video about the economic news." So anyway, y'all give him a follow. He's a good guy. I like him a lot. We're getting to know each other, and I really like some of the things he's saying about our economy right now. So that's the Economic Ninja. He's great. You'll love him. And he's got a cool start. I think I said this last time. He starts every video like this. Okay. Now, with that said, I'm going to tell you guys a little bit of what has been going on with me here. So, if you're bored with this, I apologize, but so on Thursday, Thursday morning, I woke up and I was dead sick to the world. I mean, it took effort to move. My body was aching. Everything in my body was aching. So on Thursday and Friday, I was dead in bed. Couldn't even do hardly anything. I mean, I was just sitting there on drugs. I wasn't vaccinated. I don't know if this was COVID. I don't care. I was sick in bed before all the questions come. So Saturday morning, I woke up and I felt great. I mean, I'm like, dude, that was a 2-day sickness. I'll get sick once a year if it's just 2 days. So I'm sitting on the couch and my wife's sitting on the other end, and I'm watching YouTube videos of the Economic Ninja. I can't wait, to tell him. And all of a sudden, in my right eye, 25% of my right eye goes gray. I can't see out of 25% of my right eye. I'm looking and I'm like, what is going on? It is gray. It's like I can't even see that quadrant. Draw your eye into a quadrant. I could not see out of 25% at all. And I'm like, what the heck is going on? And I'm blinking and I'm blinking. I'm walking around the house. My wife goes, what is wrong? And I told her, and she's like, and of course, what does everyone do? They go, what happens when your eye goes 25% just blind or gray? And everything on the internet literally said, you may be having a stroke. So, a migraine was, that was an option as well. So we thought I need to go to the hospital. So we went to the emergency room. Oh my gosh. Okay. I don't live in a rich town, but man, I live close to a rich town. And, I went into this brand new hospital, South Charlotte, and I walked in and the guy was like, hey, can I get your name? And we gave him the name. And what's your symptoms? And I told him. He stood up from his desk with his little, I guess, iPad. He comes around. I'm like, what is he doing? He comes around. He goes, now, how do you spell your name? And he's typing it in his iPad as he's walking us. He goes, follow me in the back. So we go in the back and it's about a 50-foot walk. By the time we open the doors to go into this bigger room, it's like where all the nurses meet and everything. There's like a table in the middle. And I'm there. It's by the time we get to that door, I had 7 people meet me at the door, including one was a doctor, I'm like, what? By the time they walked me into the middle of this square, it's where they gather, it's where the nurses stations are and everything. They plopped me down on the table. By the time I was sitting there, I had my name tag thing, printed out. They had IV getting ready to start me. And I felt like I was the president of the United States of America. I mean, he couldn't have gotten better care. So it was awesome. I went in there, checked in. They did a CAT scan on me. Everything kind of looked clear. They wanted me to keep me overnight. So I had to go to another hospital. They did an MRI last night around 1:00. Everything looks clear. My wife is pretty sad. She's like, man, you're going to live forever, aren't you? And I'm like, well, trying to. She's like, man, okay. But everything turned out good. Everything's fine. And we think the issue is about a month ago, I changed my blood pressure medicines. I have it's high blood pressure. You can call it whatever you want to call it, but it's normally a little high, not outrageously high, but we think that my blood pressure medicine for a month hasn't been working at all. And I mean, just literally my body's kind of been not working, and my blood pressure was like way out of the limits. And they think because of that, in your eye, you have vessels and veins that kind of cross each other and twist around, that it was putting pressure on one of my vessel, vein, whatever. And it literally kind of, was messing my eye up a little bit. So anyway, I was released this morning. So I'm on 38 hours of not sleeping because I didn't sleep in the hospital. You don't sleep in hospital. It's impossible to sleep in hospitals, especially if they think you had a stroke. So I've had 1 hour of sleep. I got out of the hospital at noon today. I taught a class to high school seniors that are going to college from 4 to 7. I rush home and I'm doing this live with you guys. That was my weekend. So I am tired. I didn't do everything I was supposed to do. It's very unplanned, unprofessional, but that's the way we roll. I will have to say this about 11:30 on, I guess that was Saturday night. I got a buzz on my phone. And I'm telling you, it is nice when people like Dr. Bones and Nurse Amy call you and you're in the hospital and they go, hey, how are you doing? And then the doctor walked in and I had to hang up and I called him back. And so it's just good to have friends like that. I'm just telling you. And it's good to have them part of the PrepperNet community. But they called a lot of people called. Some people I just haven't had time to return. I tried to return all the texts because I did have time sitting on my butt doing nothing. But anyway, that was my story. I'm good. My eye, if you can imagine, my eye is still, the vision has come back. It's still a little blurry, but I'm going to a eye doctor tomorrow, and also my primary care doctor tomorrow, and we'll figure everything out. So it's nothing that was serious that we think. No stroke. Matter of fact, they said that my brain looked really good, like one of the best brains I've ever seen. They literally said that. Not really, but my wife didn't like hearing that. So anyway, that's the story. I'm all good. Thank you for praying. All the people that sent messages and said they were praying for me. All good. Just going to get some sleep tonight, and I'll be fine tomorrow. So I'm alive. If you were wishing different, you lost this time. So anyway, okay, we're going to get to the show. Hey, thanks for just listening to me there, I guess. So, but I was going to do it from a hospital room. I was going to do it tonight, no matter what. Let's see if I'm missing anything here on my notes over here. I will tell you that Chris from ammo.com, what a professional. He sent me like, okay, here's some topics we can talk about. Here's some questions. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'll tell you right now, this next part would suck because I would have to literally make it up as we go. And because he did this, it literally was perfect because I got a lot of the details, a lot of information about him right in front of me. So I'm excited about that. Let's see. I think he might be next coming on.
The Prepping Academy Podcast. What are you prepping for?
Hey, let's take a quick break.
Are you a prepper or homesteader looking to connect with like-minded people in your area? Looking to start your own preparedness group? Already have a group? Well, look no further than PrepperNet. PrepperNet is dedicated to personal responsibility, individual freedoms, and being self-reliant. PrepperNet has monthly meetings in over 100 cities where you can meet and learn with like-minded people in your area. PrepperNet, where preppers unite. Find us online at PrepperNet.com. Are you a prepper or homesteader looking to connect with like-minded people in your area? Looking to start your own preparedness group? Already have a group? Well, look no further than PrepperNet. PrepperNet is dedicated to personal responsibility, individual freedoms, and being self-reliant. PrepperNet has monthly meetings in over 100 cities where you can meet and learn with like-minded people in your area. PrepperNet, where preppers unite. Find us online at PrepperNet.com.
You're listening to The Prepping Academy. The information you need before the world ends.
Yeah, so let's bring Chris. Chris, I'm going to bring you up here. We'll make us big up here, so it'd be just me and you. How you doing, Chris?
I'm fantastic. I'm glad to hear you're okay. My goodness, that was a story.
I'm telling you, it was kind of scary. You just don't know, and you want to do the right thing. And my wife's like, yeah, what was that? A $6,000 right thing decision? I don't know. Cause we have insurance and everything, but yeah, it was kind of weird. I've never had anything like that.
Well, I'm just glad you're all right. Like what we were seeing in chat, I've been watching the chat the whole time. Yeah, that the reason they got you in so fast is because if they can get you in that first hour, they can reverse a lot of the damage if it was a stroke. So glad to hear that it wasn't.
Yeah, I was too. But then my wife and I talked about that, and I looked around and we're like, well, it's a brand new facility. It's like I was literally the only person there anyway, too. They were like, the overly attached girlfriend that hasn't seen you in a long time, and you're like, oh gosh. So anyway, any old YouTubers, y'all would know where that reference comes from. But that's a key. You got to know the past to know that. So hey, welcome. Please, I didn't even attempt to pronounce your last name.
Yeah, it's Dwulet. I get about 5 to 6 different pronunciations, so I appreciate it. Yeah. Chris is fine.
I didn't even look at my hair. I appreciate you coming on. I appreciate you sending me the list and some of your information and what you're specialized in. And, I'm going to have to ask you some ammo questions at some point. You understand? Of course.
That, right? That's what we're here for, brother.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks, Lee. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for coming on. And so this is your PrepperNet. A lot of our members will come on here. We'll broadcast this out. This go into into a podcast, and
Awesome.
And so hey, tell us about yourself if you don't mind.
Yeah.
I don't even think you said that to me. You didn't. See, unprepared. No.
Yeah, I missed that one.
Yeah, that's fine. That's why you're here.
For sure. No, thanks for having me, of course. Hi to everybody in the chat. I see the chat starting to get everybody saying hi. I really appreciate that. I'm glad to be here. So, yeah, I'm actually a chemist by trade. Haven't done that in a while. But I came on with ammo.com a couple years ago. I really have a passion for writing, for shooting. I've been a shooter for a year. It started when I was about 7 or 8, of course, with my dad's 22. Like that's how most people do it.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of, moved up into bigger things when I was a little older and I had enough income. I've shot USPSA in the past, Steel Challenge. I don't do it now because I have a family and responsibilities. And, primers are expensive.
Yes. Yeah.
But I'm a hand loader as well. I've been a prepper for years, and I'm really excited to be here and talk to you guys.
So when you say chemist, is that a street chemist?
No, I am not Walter White. Sorry, I can't do any of that sort of thing for you. So my degree technically is in chemistry.
Okay.
I did a lot of work for Big Pharma, right?
Oh, nice. Yes,
the enemy. I was a contractor for Big Pharma for several years, and by several I mean like 12. But I kind of discovered the error of my ways. Found out it really wasn't my passion. And just kind of started looking, and I just kind of fell into this job for ammo.com. It was very fortuitous. A friend of mine saw the job posting, and I applied, and here I am.
Awesome. That sounds awesome. Okay. And you love guns, you love ammo.
Oh, 100%.
And so we're going to get in some, this is going to be interesting because this is a lot of things. What we're going to talk about are things that I never get into. So I get asked questions and not knowing the answer.
Fair enough.
Okay, because I think I already told you one of my slogans was if you're not in a group, you're going to die.
Yeah, for sure.
And so he's not going to say lone wolf by any means, but we're going to get there. But I do want to ask a few questions about ammo. I mean, you are Mr. Ammo. That's a new name for you, Mr. Ammo, Mr. Reload. Is ammo? We've had so many up and down with getting ammo, the price of ammo. Is ammo kind of back to normal now, or is there still issues?
It's getting there. If you ask me, it's definitely getting there. And Elizabeth, I'm sorry if there is an echo. I tried moving my mic further back. Is that better?
Yeah.
Is any better or worse?
You sound great to me.
Okay. I'm hearing it a little bit in my headphones too, so I'm not sure where that's coming from.
It could be me because I'm not wearing a headphone.
That might be it.
I'm pretty unprofessional right now.
Oh, no, you're good, brother.
Now I can't hear you.
Why? You got to plug the thing in. That helps.
Oh, okay.
It's the old.
It's all that one person.
Right? Okay, how about now?
No, you still sound good.
Yeah, okay. I don't hear it at all now. Thanks for pointing that out. So, yeah, as far as ammo supply is concerned, I mean, we're definitely seeing a lot of things back in stock. We're definitely starting to get back to that point. But in my experience, and I've gone through multiple ammo shortages before, we saw it with 22 LR, right, after Sandy Hook.
Yep.
It was just out of this world for, the better part of a year and a half. And I think that's kind of what we're seeing now with like primers. And of course, ammo is more expensive than what it was before. Trust me, I have the boxes in my ammo storage that say, like $12 on it. And you're like,
right,
gosh, when are we going to get back to that? I think there are a couple things going on. Obviously, there's a lot of ammunition being shipped elsewhere. I'm sure we all know where that is. But I would say as far as what we're seeing, we're definitely seeing, stockpiles and stores coming back. So we're getting more variety on the website, which is always good. And so I think I'm hopeful that we'll start seeing prices come down soon. But if things kick off, and of course we're going into an election year, which is always big for ammunition sales, I would say if it were me personally, I would maybe grab a couple boxes here or there. If you feel like you're a little light, maybe it might be a good time to pick some up before we kind of get into the whole, cycle for next November.
So would you say like 75,000 rounds? Is that a good number to have? No, I'm kidding.
I mean, yeah, I would love to have that, man. If you have 75,
I don't have 75,000 rounds.
Me neither. But man, if I did, I would feel locked and loaded at that point.
Locked and loaded, yes. So, is AR if 5.56, is that hard to get? Because I'm sure they're shipping a lot of that over to Ukraine area, I would think.
So as of right now, we still have plenty of 5.56 available, and we haven't had problems getting it. Of course, there was that whole, fuss about them possibly, federal not offering, M855 or the 62 grain mild steel core penetrator bullets offered to civilians, but that has kind of died, thank heavens, because that's the last thing we need. But I would say that, you can still get plenty of 5.56. What's harder to get now is 7.62 by 39. Honestly, once they did the Russian ammo ban, that really hindered our abilities to get 7.62 by 39. We still have some, but it's definitely more than what it used to be, sadly.
So I got some in steel cans. Nice. I love them.
That's the classic stuff right there.
Oh yeah, I've never opened a steel can. I've always been tempted to go. Okay,
I've done it once.
Is it just loosely packed in there? I'm sure it is, isn't it?
It is. If I'd have known, I would have gotten mine. I could show you what it looks like. I can send you a picture later. But I had the first rifle that I bought myself after I got my own AR was a Mosin Nagant, because I want to get something big, and I don't have a lot of money because I just got out of college. So I was like, let's get this. It's supposed to be really good, and I got one of those spam cans, right? So I was just excited to crack into it. It takes a little while. If you think you're going to crack that thing open in 5 minutes, you better give yourself a little more time.
Is that a P38?
They have a specialized tool that you can use for it, and it definitely chews through that metal really well. But you do have to kind of it is similar to a P38 or a P51 can opener. It's the same concept.
Nice.
But yeah, it's usually just loosely packed in paper wraps, for lack of a better term.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. Never opened one. I have one, we'll say.
Of course. The rest of them you lost in a boating accident, right?
Yeah.
Darn things. They just sink right to the bottom, don't they?
The other question is, before we get into this, which is going to, I don't even know if you know the answer. And again, these aren't canned questions by any means, but, these short barreled rifles, you guys, apparently I'm a member of many different gun organizations, and one of them is the Gun Owners of America, GOA, and they actually got a conjunction. There was a judge offered them one, which means apparently I'm covered under that injunction. So my short barrel rifles are still legal for me at this point.
Are we talking about with the arm attachment?
Yes, the arm attachment. You put your hand through there. I love shooting. Exactly everybody shoots like that, right?
Of course, and, that's how it's supposed to be used, right?
Right. And so, is there any new? I just haven't been following it in the last month. Is there any new? Do you know if there's any new legislation on that?
So I have been keeping an eye on it, just in case, because obviously this is a big issue for the gun community, and obviously they had their hearing on Capitol Hill, which was comical, if you ask me. And the injunction that you're referring to from GOA is the most recent injunction that I'm aware of, and I believe they are trying to put a stop to that. Thank heavens, because it's just ridiculous the type of tyranny that we're having to deal with. It's like softcore tyranny, right? It's like we're just going to chip away just a little bit here and there until there's nothing left. And that's something that we're trying to fight against, at ammo.com, just to kind of keep people aware of what's going on, things like that. And we like to say, so that you're armed, not just physically, but also mentally and emotionally.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So this is hard for me to talk about now. You call it suburban survival. Mm-hmm. And, we were chatting a little bit through email, and I'm like, man, who would want to stay in a town when the crap hits the fan? But man, you brought up so many good points. I'm like, not everyone can have a retreat.
Yeah.
And so everyone knows my retreat. All my PrepperNet fans know where my, not fans, members.
Yeah.
They know my retreat is in Miami Beach, Florida.
Okay.
You go to the beach and you dig down, and I have a bunker.
Nice.
Everyone knows that's where mine is.
All right.
And it's the safest place in the world. And so that's where mine is. But not everyone can afford to, one, travel the distance, two, bury, an entire town underneath the sand like I have.
It makes it more difficult.
Yeah. So not everyone, one, they're in a group, they're not in a group. They can't get out of town. So there has to be, maybe PrepperNet needs to think a little bit more about suburban, urban survival and how to bring communities and people together. But tell me how you started studying this and how you think this should work for people, and just give me the lowdown.
Yeah, for sure. So I would say that the way I started studying this is because I'm living it right now. It's one of those things you hit on this really well for us. It's like not everybody can afford to just move out into the sticks and get out into that rural environment. Obviously, that's the goal, right? That's what we all want. We want to be in that place where we can be self-sufficient. We don't have to be attached to the grid. We've got our own water, our own electricity, chickens, whatever else you want to grow, your nice little garden and your 20 acres out in the woods where nobody knows about. That's the goal, right? But it's just not a reality for everybody.
It's hard. Yeah.
I wish it were. I really do. And that's what the wife and I are trying to, shoot for, but it's going to be a hot minute before we're ready to do that and pull the trigger on it, so to speak. So what I want to do is I want to give people hope. That's the big thing. Because I feel like there's so much, say bias in the prepper community, be like, this is how you've got to do it. Otherwise you're dead. Right. And I know it's not that extreme, but I get that sometimes.
Who's ever said that before? I don't know anyone that would ever say that, but keep going.
You mentioned the group part,
yeah.
But this is the beautiful part about suburban preparedness. But one of the things, I pulled this stat up from the 2017 American Housing Survey. They said that 52% of U.S. households identify as being in a suburban area. So that means the majority of Americans live in the suburbs. And so I don't want people thinking that they don't have a chance, because you do. You just kind of have to approach it a little bit differently. And there are definitely some pros and some cons of living in suburbia. If you've ever done it, I can tell you what they are. And if, I'm sure that you could as well in the chat, if you guys live there, you understand the pluses and minuses. But I think that if you approach it right, you can definitely have a really good chance of survival in a suburban setting, primarily because of what you said. That community is already around you, and that's so incredibly important to have. Now, of course, if you're in a rural setting, you've got your people that are coming, and you probably have a plan already set in place if you've done that, and kudos to you if you've done that work. But doing it in suburbia is a little different, because I can't just go knock on the next door neighbors and go, hey, Jim, what are you doing for the apocalypse, bro? It's going to be a really weird conversation.
Yes.
We'll just put it that way. And so I think you can definitely do it. There are ways to do it without being overt and not blowing our own OPSEC, because obviously that's something that we all are concerned about here in the prepper community. We don't want to be a target. Totally get that. But if the balloon goes up and, we need to be, going to the bunker, going all the Forest bunker there in Miami Beach, maybe we can't get there in time before he closes the door. And you may have to survive in your community. And I've got some concepts we can talk about to kind of give you some hope and give you some ideas and things you could start doing.
One quick question. So, and I understand that so many people live in the city, and matter of fact, I don't want everyone in PrepperNet or all the prepper groups to go where I'm going.
Yeah, of course.
Then my area gets crowded. And so I do want some to stay and fight it out. But no, so do you prepare ahead of time, possibly putting groups together? Do you make it up as you go once it happens?
So I think really what you're going to have to do is, unless you know some people in your neighborhood who are into that, maybe I do, maybe I don't. It's going to be kind of difficult to breach that topic, but there are some ways that you can go about it without being overt about it. Probably the best example I can say is if your neighborhood doesn't have a neighborhood watch, I would suggest that you go ahead and spearhead that initiative. If you guys have an HOA, I know I hate them just as much as you do, but if you have one, go and suggest that. And what you'll typically do is you'll have local PD come in, and they usually have like a presentation they do, recommendations, how you do things. Not only does this one get you in contact with local law enforcement, which can be good because you can talk to them after the meeting, be like, hey, what's going on downtown? Have you heard of anything going on? Getting a little intel maybe about groups that you might need to be concerned about later on. Or what it also does is it gives you an idea, okay, who in this neighborhood is serious about this sort of thing? And it can kind of give you an idea of who you might need to network with, but it can also help you with setting up patrols. If things go down and they're burning down the Walmart on the other side of town, you hear about it through the grapevine, you guys can have patrols set up already because you've already done this neighborhood watch thing. That's probably the first one that's going to be the easiest and most direct way to network with people. But my personal favorite, and this is something that I had kind of a eureka moment with about, it was actually, I can tell you exactly when it was. It was October 31st last year. So my advice for anybody living in the suburbs is get out and walk the dog. And you're going to be like, well, what's that going to do, Chris? How's that going to help me get prepared? Couple things. I have a German Shepherd. She's lying down next to me. I won't say her name so I don't get another guest on the podcast. But she and I walk 3 times a day religiously. And if you're going to do this, I recommend you set up a schedule when you're going to walk your dog or just walk around the neighborhood yourself. It gives you a little exercise, some fresh air, gets you, moving, all a good thing. Good for preventing strokes. Just a little tip there. But one thing I noticed when I was out on Halloween, I was like, I can't take her with me. She's a German Shepherd. She's going to be freaking out. Right. So it's like, I'm just going to leave her to guard the house and I'll take the daughter out and we'll go trick or treating. Every neighbor I went to and said, hey, where's your dog at? I see you walking the dog all the time. Where's the German Shepherd at? So what this does is it gives you a face in the community. So if things go bad, if nothing else, at least you're the dude who walks his German Shepherd. And people can identify with that and be like, okay, well, he kind of walks around a lot. He sees a lot of stuff. Maybe he can, maybe he knows what's going on. It gives you, what I'll say is, if people know who you are, that makes you a lot more approachable and a lot more trustworthy, as opposed to somebody who just moved in, no one knows anything about them, and you're quiet and you hang out in your house all the time and you never do anything. Then you're just someone that they've never met before, as opposed to the dude who walks his dog all the time. Now, I will say, as a recommendation, make sure you're taking your bags with you, because invariably your dog is going to do its business in somebody else's yard, and you want to make sure you pick that up, because you don't want to be the guy who walks his dog and doesn't pick up the poop.
Yeah, I'd get in trouble. We have a lot of people that have little signs that says no dog poop in my yard or something.
Yeah, for sure. So just make sure you clean that. Be a good neighbor is the best thing I can say. But I'll tell you this. You're going to notice a lot of things when you walk around your neighborhood 3 times a day or 2 times a day, whatever your schedule allows for. You're going to kind of key in on, who people are that maybe share your belief system. There are signs. I will say this. There are things that you can see. Bumper stickers are a big one. This is why, obviously, in the prepper community, we recommend not using bumper stickers like NRA, Glock, Sig Sauer. I would recommend not putting those on the back of your truck.
I just have my kids beat your kids up. Is that okay?
My kids beat up your honor student?
Yeah, something like that. I don't have that. No.
That's totally cool. But I will say, I can tell you pretty much, in my opinion, I have a good guess on who my preppers are in the neighborhood. So if things do start going south, I could be like, hey, let's start getting everybody together. Why don't you go take this street and have everybody meet up in the park, and I'll take this street, and let's get everybody together and kind of have a discussion about what we're going to do. Because, I heard that 2 neighborhoods over, there was, people running through there, burning houses down. And obviously I don't want that to happen here. And they're going to be like, yeah, dude, let's do this. Let's get everything put together. So I think that the suburbs give you that benefit of having that community already built, as opposed to having to go out and build it yourself. Now, obviously, unless you're really cool with all your neighbors and you know that you're into this sort of thing and they're into this sort of thing, you're probably not going to be running drills together or anything like that. But you can always ask them, like, hey, I saw you had a Glock sticker on the back of your truck. You like going shooting? Let's go to the range sometime. Let's go, I know a great range over here. Let's go shooting together. Let's see, who can hit the most bullseyes or something like that. And just kind of start building that rapport with your neighbors. And they may tell you no, and that's be like, okay, well, if you want to do it some other time, just let me know, and just brush it off. But I know the go-to excuse is like, oh, have a barbecue. I'm not going to have a barbecue for 100 houses in the neighborhood, guys, especially with the price of meat these days. It's just not possible. So this is a good way, in my opinion, to kind of start building that community without having to be like, hey, I'm a prepper. Let's figure out what we're going to do for, an EM.
That's okay. So now I'm remembering back in my early days about some things. So I actually love the idea, love the concept, and I've done it. But I go, there's different levels of what you're saying. I went to the psycho level.
Okay.
That's the level you shouldn't go to.
Fair enough.
And it's frowned upon. Okay. I'm serious. And everyone in here probably already knows the story. I'm not going to go in depth at all, but my last neighborhood, I became the neighborhood president of the homeowners association.
HOA president. Yeah.
I became the homeowner, the association president. And every communication we had, I said, hey, friend me on Facebook. Yep. And I would put my personal Facebook account. And I became friends. We had 123 homes. And you're the homeowner president when you always know the exact number of homes. But the 123 homes, I had 93 of them friend me on Facebook. And I mapped it out. And I had a big old map, like a 5x5 map of my entire neighborhood. And, this is just between friends. We're not going to tell anyone else, guys. But I knew when husbands and wives were fighting by their Facebook post. I could tell if they owned guns, had a beach house where the kids went to school. I could tell the political party. The information is there. So I love the idea. And Sam Kopler of Forward Observer teaches this a lot about gathering intel about your neighbors in your neighborhood. And I did that. And I shared with him a map, my map, took a photo of it, sent it to him. And he's like, dude, this is like, you're psycho. And I'm like, yeah, okay, that's me.
But I'm prepared.
Yeah, but I'm prepared. I knew all my neighbors. I knew that, let's say the poop hits the fan and the people in these houses were gone. I know what they have in their houses.
Yep.
So I even said, well, I won't go into but what's going on between your neighbors. But that's a great idea. Is just, if you know your neighbors, now I can't say that legally. You know who to watch for too.
That's true. That is the other benefit of walking around in your neighborhood, is you're going to kind of know which houses are maybe they're doing less than honest things.
Yes.
And I have had several of those in the neighborhood. I could tell you exactly where they are and what they're doing, but I'm not going to do that because who knows? I might have a neighbor on the show right now.
Yeah. And so a couple things I wrote down was a couple things you could easily find out about your neighbors that could be beneficial for you is find out if they go to church. I mean, y'all might go to the same church or something. You can look everyone in your neighborhood up. You can look at like a ham radio license, and you can see if anyone in your neighborhood has a license. Anyone can do that. You can just go to the like a ham radio operator map, whatever. So you can find out. That doesn't guarantee they're a prepper. You can find out possibly if they're in the military or they've been in the military, because a lot of military are prideful about that, and that's fine. That's fine.
And Leos too. Law enforcement.
Yes. I put police. Yeah, you know about that, and also political party, because that stuff is literally, you can search that online and find that.
CJ just said that voter registration is public. Yeah, it's pretty easy to see.
So there's a lot of information you can get on people. So let's say you do your analysis. You can find out this person is the first one we send on a trip to get rid of, or whatever, These people,
trip, right?
Yeah.
Downtown, yeah.
Snipe hunting, I think we used to call it in the and you find out the friend and foe.
Oh, yeah.
So once you know that, I mean, do you suggest that you you do? What do you suggest at that point? Just,
I mean, obviously there's nothing you're going to really do right now, but start building those relationships if you can with the people that are on your level. If you guys know that you are, you have similar views on certain things, politics is obviously a big one. Not going to get into it, but I mean, when you find somebody who shares your viewpoint on things, it's so refreshing, and you just want to hang out with that person because it's so, uplifting. Is really the best thing. It's like, oh, I'm not the only person who thinks this way. This is fantastic. And, I would just, again, do like a soft intro. If you're walking around and see they're out there doing something on their yard, be like, hey, do you need a weed whacker or something? Is there anything I could do to help out? Or, do the thing like, oh, I saw you had a Glock sticker or whatever, your favorite manufacturer is on your car. Do you want to go to the range sometime? I'd love to, have some friends and have some company when I go out to the range. I love shooting by myself, but shooting with friends is so much better. And just kind of start building those relationships a little bit. And then as things progress, then, you can just be like, hey, like, what's your thoughts on, everything going on overseas right now? Are you worried about that? And you just kind of feel them out, see where it goes, and just start up a conversation is really the best thing I can do. But if nothing else, if you're very averse to conversation or you're shy or you just don't feel socially acceptable to just approach people out of the blue like that, just knowing who's on your level can be more than enough when things go south.
Yeah. So I see Echo Papas said, I know better than the cul-de-sac mags.
Yeah.
But here's the realistic thing though. Everyone can't be in a group.
Yep.
Everyone doesn't, they don't know enough. I mean, if we could make movies about it, get it on the news and get some shows about being in a mag and people preparing and start taking this stuff serious, they're going to be 100 to 1 cul-de-sac mag groups formed out of desperation than really true mag groups somewhere. And so they're going to happen. So, I got to figure out how PrepperNet is, I mean, I don't know. I'm thinking through that. I don't know how to help people in that area. That is definitely get out and know people, but it's going to happen. And it's going to happen to your aunt because she lives alone now. It's going to happen to your brother and sister because they weren't smart enough to listen to you. It's going to happen to people you love. We love. So how is it we can best train them or get them prepared? I don't know the answer to that. Chris,
yeah, it's difficult, obviously, because there are going to be differing opinions, differing thought processes, for the people in your neighborhood. And that is something you're going to have to deal with. And it is a downside. I mean, I'm not saying this is the greatest solution, but I want you to think about that there are solutions to this problem.
They're going to happen.
Exactly. It's going to happen. If things go down, communities are going to form. In times of crisis, you see this. I mean, we saw it in Katrina when neighborhoods came together to stop the looting, right? We saw it happen. Obviously, there's a lot of, infringement, we'll say, that happened during that as well, but that's a discussion for another time. Trance, I was just about to mention that, hide until 90% are gone. That's a great idea. But the only problem is a lot of neighborhoods and suburban settings live upon what we call primary ley lines of drift, aka the interstate system. So that's going to be a problem because eventually the golden horde is, as we say in the prepper community, is going to come out of the cities and they're probably going to start coming towards your direction. Now, I think one of the things that will help is the fact that you've got a lot of people around and you can be like, okay, dude, I can see the smoke coming from up north. There's obviously something going on, guys. We got to get ready because there's something coming, and maybe let's get a scouting party together. Let's go see what's going on, or let's start patrolling the neighborhood. So if somebody comes around the bend, at least you have a group of people who are ready to at least attempt to defend your place and at least make it look like a hard target. And the other thing is you can't be up 24/7, right? You got to have this group of people around. You can't be building barricades. You can't be farming. You can't be collecting water, getting everything ready for fire, making sure that, there's no, people sneaking around your neighborhood. You can't be doing it all the time. You're going to have those other people around you. And like you said, whether they're on the level right now or not, trust me, they're going to be on the level when they're saying, oh yeah, they burnt down the neighborhood two miles up. We got to get ready. A MAG group is a mutual assistance group, Greg. That's just short.
Yeah, it's a group to come together and say, hey, when the crap hits the fan, we're going to come together and protect each other. We'll maybe do some training. So again, first, there's several factors here. One is not everyone's going to be in a MAG group.
Yeah, of course.
Two, some people will never be asked to be in a MAG group because you got to have skills and some supplies and so there's many factors. It's hard to get in. Matter of fact, I played a video the other weekend about digging a hole was probably the hardest thing you'd ever do in your life. Even if it's the most important hole ever. I'm sure you guys remember that in the video last week. MAG groups, man, it's MAG groups is, if you ever watch my survival groups video, it's difficult like a marriage. It's literally like a marriage. It's difficult. It's hard to manage people with attitudes, egos, and so it's hard to manage. So there is a good book. Oh my goodness. It is a high dollar book. I can't remember the name of it. It's Sam Cope, Mike from Ford Observer made me buy it. Big old thick books. Anybody know what I'm talking about? And they're big books. They're about, and it talks a lot about putting groups together. But here's my suggestion is, like always, if you have skills and you have like serious skills and you have serious supplies, everyone's going to want to be your friend.
Oh yeah.
Everyone wants to be in their MAG group, or they want to be in your MAG group. So it all comes back to skills. Even if you're out of the city or in the city, skills is where it's at.
For sure. And it's something that, they can't never take away from you.
Mm-hmm.
Your skills are things that you can use for your life, and they make you're less reliant on gear at that point. When you have those skills, you're definitely more prepared, and you don't need as much gear to kind of help. And yeah, Lee, I agree 100%. Your family should definitely be your first line of your mutual assistant groups, because trust me, if they know that you're the prepper, they're coming to your house when things go down. And I've kind of been, one of the things I've been thinking of is, that's one thing I want to make sure that I've got ready for the people who I know who are coming. And they'll bring some things with them, but obviously I can prep more things here. And that's another benefit of, living in the suburbs as opposed to living in an urban setting or an apartment or something like that, is storage space. If you have your own house, whether it be, 150 square foot, condo, or you've got a 2-story single family home, you've got a whole lot more storage space than somebody in an apartment. And you typically do have at least a little bit of land. I know I don't have a whole lot, but, the wife and I put up a garden this year for the first time. We actually have tomatoes coming in. I'm very proud of ourselves.
Nice.
For that.
Congratulations.
Thank you. We're
for your
waiting
new babies.
We're waiting for them to turn red. They haven't turned red yet, but they're definitely coming in. Having those things available, it lets you, get your 5-gallon buckets in your Mylar bags, right? You can get that shelf stable food, or even, canned food, things like that, comfort foods. It's a lot easier to store in a suburban setting. Now, of course, again, obviously a rural setting is ideal because you can have storage sheds, you can have barns, you can, stack it to the rafters, as they say. But still, here in the suburbs, I can have quite a lot stashed away and no one's going to know about it.
So I will have to say this, Chris. Looking at the video, I look pale, and I literally look like I just walked out of the hospital. What is going on? You look so tan.
Because you did just walk out of the hospital.
Well, I did, but
didn't I tell you I walk my dog 3 times a day?
Yeah, I know. Goodness gracious. I got to do something with my lighting or something. I'm like, goodness, you look so fresh and clean, and I look like an old man here. So,
you're looking fine, brother.
Of course, Eric, Echo Papa, he's if you're not in the MAG, you're absolutely going to die, which I'm a big fan. But your neighbors, okay, I'll say it this way. Let me put it back on everyone in here. Let me put it back on even echo here. The people you don't convert to be a prepper to get in the mag group are going to be left at their house.
Mhm.
So you either need to convert them or you don't care enough to even tell them how to survive even at their house. I mean, if you think that's a waste of time, then you're kind of if you don't help people, even if they're going to stay and do something contrary to what you believe, you're a sorry human being. You've got to help people with their decision and what they're going to do. Some people do not have choices. Like my mag group is not open to anyone. We haven't added anyone in 5-6 years, and we're not looking to add people. If you came to me with $100,000 and said, I'd like to buy myself into your mag group, me and my family, we would say, no, we don't need your $100,000. And that kind of concerns us. But anyway, it's hard. People don't really realize how hard it is until they try to form one.
It is really tricky. And of course there are, back to Echo's comment, of course there are going to be people who just refuse to admit that things could change, that things might be different, and that things maybe are more fragile than we actually believe that they are. And I think you do have to do something for them. It's your family. Now, of course, I know everybody's situation is different. Some people, maybe they had a family that wasn't super close, and maybe you can say, hey, sorry, you're just going to have to go back and hit the bricks. But I would say one of the things that I kind of talk about it's a good idea. Blame it on the makeup artist. That's hilarious.
And one guy said,
makeup didn't get it done.
And one guy said, yeah, I am old. Yeah, I know.
One thing I would recommend is, having some preps set away for charity. And one thing that I like to do is just kind of have what I call a donation bag. It's just got, a little bit, maybe a little bit of maybe like a vacuum sealed bag of rice, maybe just some basic tools, maybe like a survival knife, things like that. And in one of those like cloth bags, I know those were really popular back in the 80s and the 90s. But just like maybe a cheap backpack that you picked up from, a garage sale for $1, and it's be like, listen, I can't help you. I don't have, enough supplies to help you here, but listen, I can give this to you. I hope this gets you where you need to go. It's all I've got. And I hope that, that can help you get where you're going. But it's one of those things. I think that it's going to be hard if things go down, if people show up, especially with kids, just to be like, nope, nothing, you got to go. That to me is going to be nigh impossible. But if you at least give them something, you might give them enough to get through and get somewhere that can help them.
Mags are myth. That's because, I prove that different. That's because I can put a mag together and keep it together. I've had by the way, Chris, you don't know this, but I've had a mag group since 2000.
Dude, that's awesome.
And we have 144 people, active people in our group.
Oh, wow.
Not all of them, some of them are kids of parents and things like that, but we have a large mag group. And I've, that I don't know where that comes from, because I've literally consulted with 50 mag groups, and might be coming from a place of someone not being able to get into a mag group or staying in a mag group. I'm not sure. But I did write down, so everyone knows in my neighborhood, it's not hard for people to just search my name and they know, oh, this Force guy, man, he sends some weird stuff. So I'm assuming most of my neighbors know who I am. And especially my immediate neighbors. Our neighborhood has, I guess they're probably 2-acre lots or so. You got a lot of room, but most of on my one road, there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 houses, maybe a mile road. It's so they know, but they also know that, and I've told them, hey, we've talked about it, because I bring stuff up like this because I'm weird like that. And I said, listen, guys, if the crap hits the fan, have at it. There's my house. There's going to be radios there. There's some food there. There's a lot of tools there that you can have. I'm going to keep them in my house in case another pandemic or something comes so I can have supplies here. Yeah. I said, but when the fan really hits the poop, that would be interesting. The fan hitting the poop.
When the fecal matter hits the oscillation device?
Yeah. Maybe it's the other, when the poop hits the fan. That sounds, but I said, I'm gone. I'm not taking this stuff with me and have at it. And they're like, what? And so it's kind of opened their eyes. And, there's stories I've told about my neighbors are all preppers now because I had a generator and I supplied we're on wells and septic tanks. They couldn't flush their toilets and they couldn't get water. And they were going down to, driving miles away and we had no water, no power. And I had my generator and it was, I wanted everyone to hear it. Because again, this is not where I'm staying. And they came over and I said, hey guys, you need to use restroom right here. You need a hot shower right there. I got everything you need. And all of a sudden the next storm, all my neighbors had a generator. Now it wasn't a whole house generator like mine, but it was a start.
Better than nothing.
So they're starting to think about it. Yes.
Yeah, for sure. I'm seeing a lot of mentions in the chat that, giving away things makes you a target. People know you have supplies, things like that. I'm not sitting out in my driveway with bags saying, hey, come get your free donation bags, things like that. It's more, in my opinion, of course, there are going to be times we're going to have to tell people no. And I think that's a hard thing to learn and a hard thing to do. I think we as, in Western society have a hard time saying that. But things, there are going to be people, that are going to come to you. And if I had to guess, most of the people that are probably not going to be in marauder groups or things like that are going to be like, oh yeah, hey, we can go, ransack this guy's house later. So, giving them a little bit of something, in my opinion, is better than nothing. It's going to be a weight off of your heart. If you do believe in Jesus and things like that, it's definitely the Christ-like thing to do. If you don't, that's totally cool too. Whatever floats your boat. But I feel like being able to help somebody out in a situation like that can be literally the difference between life and death for them. And maybe it can come back and pay you around later, and maybe later on it'd be like, hey, I can't give you much, but I know that we're looking to, start building some fortifications. Maybe you can help us out with that. We need some extra hands. If you're willing to work for it, we might be able to help you out. It's just a thing to consider.
Also, if you, and every prepper paints an off-grid nation as people just destroy, like Mad Max.
Yeah.
Every prepper I know, if it's a grid down, it's a Mad Max.
That's what we like to think.
Everyone thinks that, but let's look back in the 1920s during the Great Depression. It was nowhere near like a Mad Max. No. People worked together as a community. They, of course, we got bigger communities now, which is probably a bigger problem than the old days, but people did come together and they were starving. They were dying right next to their neighbor that was dying, and they didn't kill each other to eat the person or to eat their shoes or whatever. And I'm not saying that, that's the way it's going to be in the next time, but man, when you start thinking Mad Max, you got to believe, I truly believe, it's the first time I'm saying this. America is a little different. I'm just saying, we're not Rwanda. We're not some of these countries that would kill people just for food, because our history doesn't show that. It shows that we come. So, gosh, maybe I need to stay home. No, I would never do that. But I'm getting out of town. But
I don't blame you.
But I can just see that there are communities that will bond together and literally starve together, kind of thing. Now, if you're the odd person in that community, and they're looking at you, and I'm still weighing, they might go, huh. So maybe that could be food management on your family's team by not eating so much. I don't know, but
That's fair. I think in times of crisis, communities come together. That's been shown time and time again. No matter how tragic or terrible the situation is. Now, obviously, we haven't had like, I won't say like huge, large scale disasters, as of late, but dude, that's awesome, Philip. Well done. I'm going to say, he says, for those on the podcast who are listening, he says he's got enough chickens. He's feeding everybody breakfast in his neighborhood for about 3 years. Dude, I wish I could have chickens in my neighborhood. I totally would, but we have the HOA says we can't. So that's a little bit of a bummer. But yeah, I have to agree with you, Forrest. Even, of course, some people, I saw a comment earlier saying that, there it is. Yeah, Lee said it. We're a lot more divided now than we were back then.
I agree with that.
Yeah, I think definitely there is more division, but I will say that everybody's a believer in a foxhole. And if you get put in that foxhole in that actual situation, I think that a lot of that division and that hatred that we have is going to go away, because I don't think at that point anybody cares what candidate you voted for, what your leanings are, what your feelings are about, culture and things like that. They're going to be like, okay, how can we get through this together?
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, but, one of my goals was to actually read more books on the Great Depression and just but I haven't done that. I got so many books to read. I just committed to read 5 books that are crazy good books, just because one of my mentors has told me I'm going to read, just for everyone's, because someone asked me the other week and I didn't tell them. I'm going to read Steve Jobs again, The Richest Man in Babylon, I Will Teach You to Be Rich, The Millionaire Next Door, and Profit First. That was the 5 books. I was supposed to read them or share them, and I didn't share them, but that's the 5 books I've committed to read. I've read all of them except one before. So, but anyway, so, yeah, I would like to know, okay, so the big question is, like in Charlotte, kind of the closer you go uptown, which is interesting. It's changing now, but it used to be a lot of the lower income families live closer to the airport, which is normal in a lot of cities, seems like, and downtown. Charlotte's kind of reversing it, where downtown is now becoming Yuppieville. And I think we're just literally driving the lower income. So is it going to be done based by neighborhood of income, of what communities bond together, come together? Or is it going to be based on religion or crime or gangs? That's I don't know the answer to that.
I don't either, honestly. And I don't think there's any way for us to really tell or be able to see the future on that one. I wish we could. I think that people will naturally, congregate to people that are nearby. So, if you live in one of those lower income neighborhoods, then obviously you're probably going to be hanging out with those people more frequently, unless you have a bug out location, at which point you better be, hitting the bricks and getting there. But I don't think that these things like, religion and things and political leanings or, income status are going to be as important during a disaster scenario, because it's one of those things where, and I can comment on that, Dave was talking about, there isn't a lot of starvation during the Great Depression, but talk about the Holodomor. I'm actually married to a Ukrainian lady, so yeah, I can tell you quite a bit about that. So yeah, that's quite a different situation. That's tyranny at its highest, if you ask me. But I think that probably people who you're going to hang out with and hang around in your circle and in your neighborhood is probably going to have to be your group if you can't get out. So just prep accordingly. Of course, one of the other things I failed to mention, when you're walking around your neighborhood, just start taking a look at things. Be like, hey, Mary's building quite a garden back there. Maybe she knows what she's talking about. And, it's like, oh, Bob over on the corner, he's obviously, Leo, he's coming in and out with his squad car all the time. Maybe we can talk to him about getting that neighborhood watch set up. Just be aware of people's skills, because everybody has skills. Even if your skill is being able to put a hammer and a nail together on a piece of wood, that is a skill that you can use, in a disaster situation. So just be aware of that. Be cognizant of it. Don't be, walking around. When you're walking your dog, don't be doing this the whole time. Actually get your head up out of your phone for a few minutes and just see who's doing what around the neighborhood, and you're going to learn quite a bit about the skills that your neighbors have.
So I cannot remember the book, but so you're doing you're kind of like doing kind of like an ACE report that Mike from Forward Observer. You're scouting the area, you're making relationships, figuring out, seeing if there's relationships that can be, cultivated before the poop hits the fan. But then you're kind of going to, I mean, that I'm telling you, we don't like to admit it as preppers, but this is that's going to be the norm. This must be done because not everyone has a group. Not everyone can get out of the city. And maybe we can, there's already a great book for everyone. I just can't remember. Oh, I think I do know it. So you say something very smart. And as you do that, I will find the book. I think I know.
Solid advice. And yeah, I think that, sorry, I'm just reading the chat here. And yeah, sorry, I had to mute there a second. The puppers was going a little barky. I didn't want to blow anybody's eardrums out, but yeah, having that knowledge, and books are a great thing to have, obviously, for any disaster situation, because sooner or later, if that happens, the power's going out, and you're not going to be able to access YouTube or any of our channels that we like to follow that have all this information. So having it in paper is a great way to have it, because batteries never run out on a book.
That's true. So I am so close to finding this. It's called and I don't even know. I really don't know. I don't know the author personally, which I hate that, but I think I know. I'm getting so close. And I'll be honest with you, it's so much information. It's mind blowing. And the 2 books cost me $100. So they're called, I think I found them. And they are excellent. Nope, that's not it. I don't know. I will find them and let everybody know. I know you can't buy them on Amazon, but they're great books, especially for neighborhoods. So what I still like the idea of assessing everyone's skill, even though you don't even have to know them.
Yeah.
You just said you saw some lady was, as you're walking, you see someone that's growing a garden, you see a guy fixing a car over here. Yep. If you're real, let's just say, not you, but people in general, if they're real, they're going to write this stuff down, and they're going to know this, and it's going to be, they're going to have a tablet or a pamphlet or a map that says, hey, this guy down on the corner down there, he has a car up on blocks, and I think he's rebuilding his engine. He could be a good engine guy that could help us do this or whatever. So scouting the neighborhood, I think, is important. And gosh, it would be, I don't know how to say this. If we can't help people that's going to stay in their own neighborhood, and we only try to help people that are in a MAG group, which I believe 100%, a MAG group with a retreat in the middle of the forest, in the middle of the mountains, with a log cabin and all the wood you need. I mean, that's what you need.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But let's be realistic. If Charlotte has 1 million people, if they all did that, that's going to be a pain in the butt up there in the mountains if they all had that. So they're going to be I want people to stay here and survive. So we've got to somehow come up with a program to help people. I'll put Beth G in charge of that. She does all my the difficult work in PrepperNet.
Sure.
But
well done, Beth.
Yeah. But so what would be some of the steps you would do besides walking your dog, writing stuff down? And you do need, it'd be good to have food for friends and family that show up.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But what's some other ideas you got?
So what I would do, honestly, if I were getting ready to do this, I would print out a paper map, just get on your printer. You can get on Google Earth, figure out your neighborhood, right? I'm going to be looking for easy points of access. That's one of the things that I'm going to want to kind of lock down. If things go down, I'm going to be like, okay, we need to have a plan in place, ahead of time. And if you're the person that brings the plan, more often than not, they're probably going to go with that. So just having the foresight to be able to think about this ahead of time, a huge plus for you. Now, maybe you're not the type to be the leader, and you don't necessarily have to be the leader of the neighborhood, but at least you can be like, hey, guys, I've been thinking about this for a while. I was kind of concerned about it. And I noticed that, it's really easy to get into our neighborhood over here and over here and over here. Maybe we ought to start setting up some patrols, maybe put some people over there with some binoculars. If you have some, maybe we can just keep an eye on what's going on, because it's getting kind of nasty out there. And then what I'm going to be doing personally is, just kind of getting everybody together. My plan, bless you. My plan is basically when things go down, if I'm still here, if I haven't been able to get my property out in Indiana where I want, then I'm going to go door to door. I'm first going to go to the people that I know are on the level, be like, hey, let's start getting everybody together. I want to get everybody together in our park. We have a little park common area, and you start talking about a couple things. When you start to talk about sanitation, that's going to be a big one. The last thing you want to do is have somebody, contaminating your water supply. We're going to talk about, okay, how are we going to handle this? What can we do to start getting everybody together? And one thing I want to try and do is try and explain people how to get water purified, because if you ever played the game, the Oregon Trail back in the day, if you remember, you died of dysentery.
Yes.
That happens actually quite a bit in disaster situations. Dysentery, cholera, E. coli, crypto, giardia, the list goes on. But waterborne diseases kill fairly regularly. And if you can, the more people you can save from that, the more people that can help you get this neighborhood ready to go, and things like that. And if the HOA people want to take charge, that's fine. But just be like, okay, guys, listen, we gotta do this. If they want to bicker about what to do, that's fine. But just kind of be the voice of reason in the crowd.
Yeah, I wouldn't let them.
Yeah, I wouldn't let them either.
I'd dress up like Rambo. No, I'm not anymore. I moved.
Not anymore.
I dress up like Rambo, and my belts of ammo, my face painted.
Absolutely.
And they'd all show up in suits, and I'd make some kind of really spiffy speech, and if you're with me, follow me, and we'd march out to our homes and do nothing.
But awesome. That's a speech right there.
Yeah. So, hey, I found the book I was looking for. Okay, guys, not a cheap book. Again, Mike from Ford Observer introduced me to this guy. His name is Jack Lawson. Okay. He apparently is a pretty famous guy, Jack Lawson, and the book is called. I'll post it in the right here in the chat room here. It's called Civil Defense Manual. There is so much information there. There's 2 volumes. I think they're $50 a piece. I told you they're not cheap. He doesn't sell them on Amazon, but they are excellent books. Matter of fact, I have taught a class from information that I got from one of them books once upon a time.
Awesome.
And they're thick books. They're really, and not only are they great books, he writes to the margin. There's less, it's like less than a quarter-inch margin on some of the pages. He gets so much information in there. So there's the link right there, guys. If y'all want to see that Civil Defense Manual. I don't know him personally. Never met him, but I know his book is pretty dang awesome. So, I was looking here. So how do you feel about sealing off a neighborhood and letting the neighborhood next door kind of take care of themselves, or do you become like a group? And again, I'm going to say this on the air. I wish I could bleep it, but there's some people that are just not going to play fair.
Yeah, that's true.
And somehow we'll just leave it up to your imagination. Sometimes you just got to take care in the best way possible, send them on a trip or something, and to make sure that they don't screw up things that need to get done. I mean, we all understand that. We all know that there's there's bad and evil people, and sometimes that needs to be dealt with. But what do you think about different neighborhoods, and how do you come together at the time and become more of a group with, like, okay, we got to put some people in security here. We got to start helping people out.
I think that, at least in my vision of how I'm planning on doing this, I think that it makes more sense for each neighborhood to be its own unit, so to speak, as opposed to one big unit, because the more people you have involved, the more bureaucracy there's going to be, the more difficult it's going to be to get things done. But what I would suggest, once you have your neighborhood kind of locked down, send somebody over there, be like, hey, are you guys like getting things ready? What have you guys been doing? Like, do you have somebody who's kind of taking charge, or like, what's going on? And just kind of asking them what's going up. And then if they do have somebody who's kind of running the show, just go talk to them. Be like, hey, we've got this place over here buttoned down pretty tight. Do you think you guys can handle this side? And then we can basically just protect each other's flanks. Be like, we've got patrols going on. What are you guys doing for security? And then you just kind of coordinate with them. I don't see the super huge community being as feasible, because you're going to have even more problems with differing opinions on what you should do, who should be in charge. And I think, especially in those first couple of weeks when it's going to be the most dangerous, you want to just be able to get things done as quickly and efficiently as possible to make sure that everybody's safe. And so I just think sending a representative over there, just being like, hey, John running neighborhood B over there, what are you guys doing? We can cover you from this side. Can you cover us from that side? And if something happens, let us know. We can send some people over there to kind of help you out. And, just same thing if it happens over here. What can we do to help each other? And I think just having those separate communities because they know the people better than I do. I've got another neighborhood right directly attached to mine, and I don't walk through there because, I only walk so far. And I will tell you this, walking 3 times a day will tell you which shoes last and which don't. And that's some good information to know right there. So you can kind of stock up on the right type of footwear.
I got so many questions. Like, do your dog, does he prefer certain grass over other grass? Well, I don't want to get into that.
She's an equal opportunity offender.
Okay. Nice. Very nice.
Typically, she prefers the park mostly, but neighborhood yards are just as fine if the need strikes her. But like I said, just always have those bags with you ready to go. They make cute little attachments you can put on your dog leash. I have one that looks like a coffee cup. It's perfect.
Nice. So this is interesting. It's made me think a ton about how do we serve all preppers, not just preppers that are the ones that are going to bug out and get a mag or buy some land or go to a farmer's house. There are some people that literally can't do that. And there's a guy, and I've never really, I've met him several times, but I've never understood his draw, and he's called the urban prepper, and he teaches people how to stay in your, and I've always been so against that. So,
for sure. I know his channel. He's got some good stuff.
He does great videos. He puts a lot of time in there.
Thank you, Lee. I really appreciate it, brother.
Wait, is that your brother-in-law, your brother, what is that, your mom? Come on now.
No, it's not. I've not met Reed before, but I appreciate it, brother.
And people are agreeing with you. But yes, so as PrepperNet, we need to maybe start thinking about that a little bit. I've always been I don't think it's a fault, but hey, you got to find a group. If you're not in a group, you're going to die, and you got to get out of town. You got to get away from population. And
for sure.
So
I got one thing here for you.
Okay.
You guys want to save some money on ammunition?
Yeah.
All right, here. I'll post this from our YouTube channel. You'll probably have to approve it because it's a link. There's a link for you. It's just for those who are listening on the podcast. It's just ammo.com/Chris, which is my name, CHRIS.
75% off?
Not 75. I wish. $20 off. $20 off your order. So that's for everybody. All we need is an email. Promise you, there will be no spamming of emails. We send out a weekly newsletter with our deals and stuff like that. That's it. You can unsubscribe at any time. Get your free coupon and pick yourself up a little bit extra if you need it.
You can't do that? It won't let you post that?
I did it from our ammo.com YouTube link. I'm on both. I'm in the StreamYard and I'm watching it on YouTube as well.
Oh, okay. It is on YouTube. Okay, good.
One of the moderators might need to approve the comment because it's a hyperlink. So
okay, yeah. Beth
or it might. You know what? The Google gods might have flagged my comment too. You never know. But yeah, it's just ammo.com, like right here on the shirt, ammo.com/Chris, CHRIS. There it is.
You like that?
Yeah. Yep. Okay. There it is.
And $20 off.
$20 off.
Sweet. That's awesome. That's bonus.
Yeah. For all you guys who are here, watch the recording, listen to it on wherever
do you have grenade launchers? I need to refill my grenade launchers. Do you have them?
That's not one that I have been able to procure just yet.
Yeah.
But we'll work on that. I'll see if I can't find some for you. All right.
Well, yeah. I don't need them.
I understand.
Well, Chris, tell us, everyone, thank you for doing that. That's awesome. That's 20% off or $20 off. And tell us how people can follow you. And I know you write a lot. Do you blog? Do you have a YouTube channel? I don't know any of this information. Just tell us.
Yeah, ammo.com does have a YouTube channel. We haven't been posting in a while. You just spell out the word dot, so it's AMMODOTCOM. If you want to follow us there, that's totally fine. I would honestly say just check out our articles on our website. We have a ton of content on there talking about different calibers, things like that. Philip, sadly, I don't have that connection, but I can work on it. But he's joking. I appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that would probably be the best way. Just checking out some of the articles that we have on there. Great source of information to get yourself some deals on ammo. If you want to connect directly with me, it's just my full name, Christopher @ammo.com is my email address. I'm more than happy to help out. I saw a couple questions about specific guns and ammo. If you just want to email me, I'm more than happy to answer all your questions.
Well, actually, if you guys want to ask a question, type it on in there.
Sure. I saw one earlier, and I can address this. Let me pull it back up. It's way back up there. It's from R&B, AUREN. She asked, could I please address the topic of what is the best type of gun and ammo you should carry as a traveling prepper? So my advice on that is carry and shoot what you can hit with. I don't think you need a specific, I'm not sold on the whole, you need to carry this caliber and nothing less. Because in my opinion, a firearm on your waist is a whole heck of a lot better than one sitting on your nightstand. So if you're traveling, I would say carry with you what you're most comfortable with and what you're most proficient with. I know a lot of people like the micro subcompacts and stuff like that. I'm not a super huge fan of them. They are incredibly comfortable to carry, but they are incredibly difficult to shoot well, and you need a lot of practice.
Yep.
So I always err, especially with somebody who's new to shooting, I never give them a subcompact to start with. Of course, you always give them the 22, right? That's what you always start with. But when we move up to center fire stuff, it's always one of my larger ones because that recoil is so much less on a heavier firearm. But if you're traveling, of course, make sure you're keeping an eye on reciprocity for your carry permit. The last thing I want you to do is get pulled over and end up in the clink because you didn't know what was okay to carry and what wasn't, or if you could carry there legally. So just make sure you're following all the laws because the last thing we need is preppers in jail and not prepping.
Yeah, there's an app for that.
There always is an app for that.
So Philip, you were just talking to, and he talked about the chickens.
Mm-hmm.
He's coming on the show in about a month. He owns a site called rentachicken.com.
Oh, cool.
You can rent, they'll bring everything to you and you just rent it and you get eggs. So, good guy. He's, like I said, I don't know when it is. I would answer that question.
Lee wants to see the dog. Hang on. There she comes.
Oh, goodness. Great. Well, I think your voice. Oh, yeah.
Me. Yeah.
She's like, yeah, that's enough of you.
That's enough.
Any other questions looking in there?
That was the one that I saw. I didn't see any others. If anybody has any questions, feel free to post it up. We can talk for a couple more minutes. Easy, girl. We'll go out in a bit. I know it's almost time for night patrol.
Night patrol, nice. I would answer that question if I knew someone who was looking for a gun to travel. I'm telling you, I love my 22 pistol. I know. It's just I can hit. It always goes bang, and I can carry a lot of ammo with it. And so matter of fact, in my bug out bag, well, my EDC bag, I carry a 22 with a suppressor on it.
Oh, that's nice.
So that is one that I do. I've learned that from Warrior Poet.
Yeah, for sure. That's an awesome one.
Yep.
A. Ortiz says, how many rounds should someone have on hand? As many as you can afford, brother. You know, I don't think there's a magic number. I know we like to say, okay, you need to have this many days worth of food, this many days worth of water, and you kind of build on it from there. I would say start with what you can afford and just kind of add to it over time. Now, of course, some of that ammo is going to have to be relegated to practice and things like that. But I think the first kind of benchmark, you know, shoot first for 100 and then just start going from there. Just keep building that supply. If you're going to go to the store and pick something up, maybe pick up 2 boxes, one to put away, one to practice with. And that'll kind of insulate you against price hikes too.
So that's how many rounds. How about this question here? It says, thank you. How about a revolver?
I mean, if you like your wheel gun, they are really good for especially deep concealment. Some of those little snub noses, really tight and light. But again, that snap is going to be pretty difficult if you're shooting off some higher powered self-defense rounds. So make sure you practice with that and you're comfortable with it. I have no problem against wheel guns. I'm not a huge fan of them personally, but that's just me. And if that type of weapon works for you and you're proficient with it and you got a couple speed loaders for reloads, I think you're totally fine. As far as types of ammo, hollow points, that's what I would be packing.
And CJ, your dad sleeping with an AR under his pillow. That's
going to be a rough night. That's going to do work on your neck. Right there.
Yeah. Here's Phillips. Why should someone use 5.56 over 223?
Higher pressure. That's why the 5.56 is slightly higher pressure than your average 223 Remington. So it's reloading ammo costs just as much as purchasing it. Now it does. That's for sure, especially with the price of primers. Back to the 5.56 versus 223 question. Your 5.56 rifle can, or pistol, depending on your configuration, can easily shoot 223. It's totally safe. Going the other direction is not safe.
Right.
So do not put 5.56 through your 223 rifle because 5.56 is a higher pressure per the CIP standards as opposed to SAMI.
And most people reloading right now is mostly for competition, I would think.
Yep. Or you're just crazy like I do.
Yeah. Can't some revolvers?
Not 9. Well, I know technically, definitely not 9mm Luger. Now there are revolvers that are 9mm. I think what you're thinking is 38 Special and 357 Magnum.
Okay.
TS, it is better to have ammo than to not have ammo.
Yes, always.
I would much rather have an FMJ than a pointy stick.
Yeah. Or a knife throwing. Okay, that's been a wow, man. It's been we've gone a little bit long, but that's fine. Hey, give us your stats again. Give us your, where everyone can connect to you, and then I'm going to sign us off. You stay on those so we can chat a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. Just check us out. Best place to find us is just ammo.com. Do I have a preferred holster? The one that you're most comfortable carrying with. That's my preference. If you're carrying a revolver, probably leather is going to be your go-to. But Kydex is going to be a little bit more weather resistant, but it's going to be more uncomfortable to carry. So best place to find us is ammo.com. Get your coupon, ammo.com/Chris. And then if you have any questions specific that I didn't cover and you'd like to reach me directly, it's just my full name, Christopher, at ammo.com.
All right. So we got that. So this is Christopher from ammo.com. He gave us a $20 off, ammo.com/Chris. And guys, we appreciate you guys being here again. And next week is Ham Radio, so make sure you join us, and we'll see you next week. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks for listening to the Prepping Academy podcast. Preppers Unite at www.preppingacademy.com.
Has your data been hacked? Do you feel uneasy about the vulnerability of your personal information online? Were you involved in the Target, LinkedIn, or Microsoft data leaks? Don't know? If not, then pay attention. Join Forrest Garvin from PrepperNet for a free webinar on privacy and security. Gain insights into safe internet browsing, VPNs, crafting online aliases, secure emails, detecting if your data has been hacked, and managing passwords. Secure your spot today for this webinar on privacy and security. It's free. This webinar delves into comprehensive strategies for bolstering your online privacy. We've got you covered, from fortifying your passwords to shielding your financial information and mastering state-of-the-art encryption techniques. We're offering 2 convenient dates to suit your schedule. Reserve your spot now at preppernet.com/privacy. Don't let cyber threats erode your peace of mind any longer. Take the first step toward a safer, more secure online experience by joining us for our free webinar. Remember, knowledge is power when it comes to safeguarding your privacy. Sign up now at preppernet.com/privacy. We'll see you there.